I think my light can be better, but hey guys, what's up? Let me cut on a better light. Oh, that's much better. Hey guys, what's up? I just wanted to hop on and talk about Meg in this case that is ever developing, right? So let's see if there's any new details from the Meg case that are out yet. Come on in and say hi. Don't be afraid to say hi. Oh my goodness. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. Let's see. All right. So we haven't gotten any feedback from the jury yet. It is 4:46 p.m. So we're just waiting. They were not allowed to deliberate until 1:30 p.m. Central time. So that is just about 17 minutes. So we're all just waiting to hear back. There were maybe some leaked documents circulating on Instagram. We don't know if those are for real. We don't know if those are false, but we're just waiting to hear back. In the meantime, I really wanted to talk about the um, what seems like a attack on Meg, and I don't know if it's an attack because she's a woman who stood up and because the attacker is a man, or is it because this is a Black woman? I'm sure all of those factors can be really inserted into what's playing out here, but I'm just seeing so much vitriol, and especially from Black men, about Meg and this case. Just yesterday, Joe Budden had to issue an apology based on what he said about Megan Thee Stallion being this horrible person who's done horrible things to good people. And it's like, why? Who are you to say such a thing? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. It seems like it's an all out assault on Meg, and I can't truly figure out why that is. So I'd love for you guys to hop in and give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this whole situation because it's really getting crazy. Um, so before that, there was the 50 Cent was attacking Meg, and now Joe Button, and then Drake when the album dropped with him and 21 Savage. It's like a constant barrage of Black men exclusively attacking Megan, and Black women having to be in the background screaming, "Stop." Because even if you have something bad to say, why don't you just try to say nothing? Nothing is okay too, right? So we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Just waiting for more jury deliberation. Today is the 22nd, it's Thursday. Nothing has come out yet, but we know the jury is deliberating and we're going to get so much closer to hopefully justice for Megan, because regardless of whether she was intimate with this person or this was a partner or somebody she was just messing around with, the facts are the facts, and the girl was attacked. And there's no other side to that, if you know what I mean. Like, there's Megan was attacked. Where's justice for her? It's not about who she slept with, what she wears, her hairstyle. All of this is really okay, cute for gossip blogs and commentary, but for the general public, we've been ripping this young woman apart because of her personal relationships when the focus should be that this man actually attacked, shot, and based on the witness testimony, the neighbor who was near the scene of the crime described that they all, the driver, Tory Lanez, and Kelsey, were all a part of attacking her after she was shot, like physically, and then dragged her into the vehicle so they could leave then. And at the time, Kelsey also sent a message telling Megan how beat up she was, how hurt she was the next day, and her body was sore from being attacked by Tory. And there was also a text that Kelsey sent to Justin, Megan's security guard, saying that Megan just got shot by Tory, help. So, what are we to do with this information? Just let it go? Like none of it happened? I think we've all come to the conclusion that Kelsey has likely been paid off, but what are we going to do? Because it can't be nothing. We have to do something about it. I will not be able to rest in this country if this woman is not protected by the state of California. And we know the state of California, we already know, has a historical past with the LAPD and the district attorneys and the prosecutors, right? We already know this. If she can't win this case in the state of California, Black women need to really evaluate how we all move forward as a collective. And maybe that's something else we could really get into, because even in where I am, I'm in the Chicagoland area. In this area, there are some new laws going into effect next year that really are a result. And I'm going to say something that may be controversial, but really what's going into effect next year in our state is something that's a result of Black women protesting against the police, because we all know the main protesters are Black women, organizers, and on the ground. So the main protesters against the police for Black men were Black women. Now we've done all this work to correct the police, and now there's an overcorrection in the justice system in which we're like the boy that cried wolf. You wanted us to lay off. You wanted these changes after the George Floyd thing. You wanted all this reform in policing. Now no one's here to protect you, and you do it yourself. And that's what I think we're going to see, because the laws that are changing in our state are really, really scary. Really scary. And I'm not like fear mongering, but if you think about having people who have no regard for human life on the street. So these are like carjackers, robbers or armed robbers, drunk drivers, like intentional vehicular homicide, like those type of crimes. Physical assault, assault, those type of crimes don't have a cash bond, which means these people who were kind of stuck in jail because they couldn't bond out are now being freed without the cash bond requirement. And that is a direct result of all the protesting that Black women did in support of police reform. There's been an absolute overcorrection, and it needs to be addressed, because why not? What have we absolutely done to one another that this is happening? That is what scares me. We've done this in such a way that the police don't want to protect Black women. We've done this in such a way that the police are saying, okay, we'll take our hands off. You deal with your community. And it's been an overcorrection. And it's going to affect us all. It's going to affect how Black women have to move as a collective in number one, in protecting themselves, and in number two, being smart about who we're around. Right now, we are armorless. Look at Shanquella's case. I think the people involved with Shanquella's case are like still going to work. They're still in the state of North Carolina. They don't have any repercussions for what happened to this young woman in Mexico. On top of Shanquella's case, we have to talk about the Meg case. And the femicide, the rate of femicide is going higher and higher and higher, which you guys may not see because the statistics aren't just out there. The media doesn't talk about it. This is like an internal thing that Black women talk about. So I think we all have to realize exactly what's going on, exactly what we've caused for ourselves. Think about when this case first started with Megan. There was talk that Megan said, I didn't want the police involved because I know how they react to Black men. Now, 2 years later, we're at trial and you can't get a conviction and you can't get justice because initially you made up all these stories to protect your attacker. And that's just a metaphor for what we've done for organizing protests, organizing BLM, wanting justice, reform all across the country. And now in the blue states, you're seeing it and it's going to wreak havoc. The reforms that Black women advocated for the people who really probably need to be over policed, are now wreaking havoc. I'm sorry, I hate to agree with things that are controversial, but I have to have my opinion, and my opinion, I've had thorough conversations, researched as much as I can, looked up the laws. I'm not taking talking points from certain people because I know there are political talking heads. I'm not doing any of that. What I know for a fact is that what we've done and what we're about to see, we can only thank ourselves for that. We can only thank ourselves for that. There's so much that needs to be done in this country, and that wasn't one of them. We were not out fighting for reparations. We were not out fighting for banking reform so that Black people could have more home ownership. We weren't out fighting for student loan erasing or student loan reform. We weren't fighting for any of those things. We were fighting for thugs to be thugs. And guess what happened? The police have checked out. In all the major cities across America, you can look it up. The police have completely checked out. And that's because we asked them to. We begged them to. We got up in their face. If you pull up any protesting pictures from news outlets, the major news outlets, I don't know how intentional it was, but it's not like it's a photo op. But what you saw was Black women face to face with police, protecting people who do not protect them. And what you saw in this Megan Thee Stallion case is Megan Thee Stallion, not physically, but Megan Thee Stallion being up and close with police so that Tory Lanez wouldn't go to jail. And now 2 years later, she can't get justice because this is what she wanted for herself. This is what she asked for. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to hop on here and talk about, is that Black women should have sat back, minded our business, and now as a collective, the police have checked out from protecting us In the inner cities, they do not even respond. Check Atlanta police. You can go on various Atlanta blog sites and see what's happening. They're breaking into cars in the hospital parking lot. They're going to the doctor's lots to break into cars. They're attacking and robbing people leaving the mall during the holiday season. And in Chicago, the laws are changing. All over Illinois, the laws are changing for as a direct result of what Black women were protesting for all the last 2 years when we should have been in the house with a mask on in the pandemic. We were outside protesting, Black women chest to chest with police. And guess what happens now? The police have said, okay, do it yourself. The police don't come. They don't respond. Every major city is hiring for police. Nobody wants to be a police officer because guess what? You arrest somebody that's attacking someone, you get called racist. You arrest somebody that's breaking into your grandmother's home, you get called racist and you get fired. You arrest somebody that's picking up little girls going to school, trying to get to the school bus, you get called racist. The police can't do anything because Black women have overcorrected what was not a true problem. Look up the stats. If you look up the stats for people that their lives have been ended by police, Black people aren't the top of the list. And look at what you've done. It's scary. It's scary. And I'm very passionate about it because it's scary. And if you talk about this stuff in front of Black men, they say, oh, you a coon. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. No, I'm talking about real facts. I'm talking about factual things that I know and I see that are happening. Police can't even go up to the gang members in neighborhoods because there are still women who are going to come outside and say, leave that baby alone. There are Black women that are going to come outside and say, leave that baby alone. And guess what? He going to break into her house the next day. Let it be. This is a serious problem because look at what's happening for Megan Thee Stallion. This is so scary to me, and I don't know why y'all not scared and why y'all not talking about it and why y'all not doing something different than what you've been doing. It's scary. Anyway. I didn't mean for this to get this intense, but I'm telling y'all, this is so scary. You should be worried. You should be worried. You're not protected in this country. You're not protected anywhere. But in the one country that you likely, aside from, okay, people are having a brilliant experience in Mexico. I'm not gonna lie. All the women that I follow that have relocated to Mexico are having a brilliant experience, right? I'm not going to say that's for everybody, but if you do the research on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and you search up travel blogs, like travel blog websites, Panama and Mexico, the Black women are having a brilliant experience. They're living their lives. They're not in fear. But what I will tell you is that this was a country in which you were not hanging out to dry, for lack of a better word. And now what you did was you told the government and you told the police to lay off the people that were attacking you. And guess what? Now you've got overcorrection and you have police reform that doesn't protect you because you outside fighting with the police, telling them, leave that baby alone. Leave that little boy alone. You mean the little boy that's going to try to carjack the Uber guy? The little boy that's going to rob the Pizza Hut, man? Come on. This is what we've done to our country and our police system. And it's scary. It's scary. This is a country where I felt safe. I feel safe now because my husband has us in the non-dangerous neighborhoods. But if I was living in the inner city and it was just me and my kid, No, I would never. I would be terrified and so scared that I couldn't call the police and have them come out because they're not responding because you've overcorrected what wasn't really a problem. You've overcorrected this. Megan, you're a young woman, but you should have known better. I'm not blaming the victim. I want this girl to have justice for the person who shot her. But what you did at the beginning, I know we were in the middle of all this social justice, George Floyd stuff, but let me tell you something. You could have done something different. But it's a direct reflection of what we talk about so much in this on this platform. Is the Black women are fighting police while Black men are not. That's a their problem. Let it be a their problem. And now you got this happening. So I don't know. I guess we're going to see. But before we get off of here, guys, I want to check in again. I'll come back later once we get Megan updates. I'm just so concerned about what's going to happen with the outcome of this trial. I'm just so nervous about what's going to happen with the outcome of this trial. And I'm sorry to say, but I have to agree with some of the talking heads like Candace Owens. I am not a Candace Owens fan for multiple reasons, but I'm going to tell you what. Maybe we can have a real let me have a conversation with y'all real quick. I'm going to tell you why I like Candace Owens, because she years ago was on a panel with Big Mike and T.I. and some other prominent artists who aren't intellectuals, right? They're not like people you would call for political science, but they were there and they were holding a panel because in our community, we make celebrities the leaders for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, so Candace Owens said on that panel, the biggest problem in the Black community is not policing. The biggest problem in the Black community is the lack of literacy and access. But we did not fight for literacy. We did not fight for education reform. This is why I have the problem. I do. And don't tell me, oh, we were fighting for everything. We weren't. We did not fight for education reform so in the inner cities, the children can get better education. We didn't fight for that. There was no stronger fight than letting thugs be thugs. So we didn't fight for education reform. We didn't fight for bank access, money access, business loan access, so people can start real infrastructure in these neighborhoods that need grocery stores. They need restaurants. They need, why not a coffee shop? Why not a health food store, a smoothie store? You didn't fight for this. You didn't fight for direct bank access by Black business owners to build real wealth and access in our inner cities. What you fought for was for people to continue to tote guns, jack cars, and rob without the police interfering. And now look at what you got. Come on, let's talk about the community. Let's talk about the community. Don't nobody want to have that conversation. Candace Owens said it over a year ago. Why can't they read? Why can't the little boys read? If the little boys could read, guess what? They'd have more confidence, number one. They'd have greater access, number two, and a greater desire to stay out of trouble and actually in school. But you didn't fight for education reform. You didn't fight for access. You fighted against the police. Again, for people who can't read. And if you can't read, guess what? You can't get a job. And guess if you can't get a job, you ain't got no money. And when you ain't got no money, that makes you very desperate. And they're getting younger and younger and younger. It's scary. But I don't know, guys. Let's wrap this video up. I'm so glad you all joined me on my first YouTube live. This was very, very exciting. I think I'm going to start doing it from StreamYard so we can have more people hop in and join the conversation. But we really need to talk about more issues that are pressing the community and our country as a whole so we can have more unity, less division, and a path forward. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night. If I don't see you again, if there's no resolution for this trial, I probably won't be back, but I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.